coming to you from the home of the mini trees. Inspirational, motivational, so come along with us.
Hi, I'm Tage. Welcome to Pixel Talk. This week's edition brings you my interview of Steve Forbes, Rudy Singh's discussion of a new skeleton that was found that could be Amelia Earhart's, and Shannon Madden's discussion of last week's presidential election. Hi, I'm Tage, and I'm broadcasting from New Jersey. Hello world. With us is Steve Forbes, the chairman and editor of Forbes. Thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
So what do you see as the future of the distribution model for news companies like Forbes, especially since Facebook and Twitter are playing such a predominant role in our society and that information is available for free? Even you had live tweeted the vice presidential debate.
Well, this is very successful, as does not charge to get on it. We support it simply through advertising. But one of the things you have to keep in mind in communications is what Peter Drucker, a management guru who passed away several years ago, but he said something that is a real truism. He said that businesses should always remind themselves what their purpose is, what their mission is. And if you remind yourself what your purpose is, you don't get quite as hung up when the tools may change to achieve that purpose. So the first issue of Forbes magazine, almost 100 years ago, which was founded by my grandfather, an immigrant to this country who had a grade school education, one of 10 children, started out with nothing, was that the purpose of business is to provide people an opportunity for happiness, not to pile up money. So we are firm believers in entrepreneurial capitalism, opportunity creation. And so we've embraced the web. And we now have between 70 million to 80 million visitors each month. Forbes magazine itself, paid circulation is doing very well because we work very closely, the two of them together. So whatever happens to print or even the web itself, as you know, we've gone away from the desktops to mobile devices now, and which presents also challenges. But I think the appetite for information has never been stronger. And it also underscores the need for a strong brand. If you don't have a unique brand that people know they can go to and get information they need, then you're going to ultimately fail. So it's not enough to have a name. You have to provide a service that people find very useful. And one of the things we've done is, in terms of content creation, we still do 12 to 1,300 printed articles a year, which are posted online. But we also have over 1,800 contracted contributors to Forbes.com. And you get paid generally by the traffic you generate. So we have well over 110,000 posts a year. We do a virtual magazine every day or two. But again, the tools and methods may change, but the mission, the goals do not.
And Forbes is constantly innovating because, now that people are on mobile and desktop, a big challenge for publishers is ad blockers, because they just block the ads and people, don't see them in that way. Publishers can't get revenue, but Forbes is on the cutting edge and they're on the forefront, along with Wired magazine, that require people to turn off ad blockers just to even access the content. So what do you see as the future of revenue? Will it come from, turning off ad blockers, or are you starting to, get money from other sources?
Well, ad blockers simply underscore the drive for what we call commoditization of the web. That is, if you don't have something that people feel is of value, they're not going to do anything to go to you. So in terms of ad blockers, we don't ask you to pay to go online, but if you do go online, we want a source of revenue that enables us to provide all this information, analysis to you for free. So if you want to come on, you turn off the ad blocker. If you want to have the ad blocker on, then you don't obviously value our site very much, and you'll go elsewhere. And our traffic has been very good. because people like what we offer, the huge variety of expertise we offer for people who want to get ahead. And so they will keep the ads on.
Certainly, that's been the case. I've turned off ad blocker for Wired and Forbes both. Do you think print magazines will still be around in 10 years?
The answer is I really don't know. I think there is an appetite for the tactile feel of a magazine, not the way it used to be before the internet, but people when on an airplane or relaxing want to flip the page, easily go back and forth. So I think there'll still be a market for it, but obviously proportionately, print will continue to go down sharply, especially with daily news. In terms of daily news, yes, you can get a wide variety of sources on the web, very convenient, in and out, so you don't need paper there. But magazines are a little different category, so I don't think you'll see it disappear there quite as fast as you will with newspapers. And so again, that shows that you just can't make broad general statements. You also have to go piece by piece in terms, and you see it in books. Even though ebooks have done very well, printed books have made something of a comeback. And oftentimes now, amazingly, people buy both of the same title. So they both have the physical copy and the online copy.
And so a lot of our audience is millennials. What's your message to that generation?
Well, it's to any generation. First of all, older generations will find you hopeless. When I was younger, we heard the same thing, we're going to ruin the world. So that doesn't change. But in terms of getting ahead in the world, I wouldn't get overly concerned that the world is coming to an end, even though we've got some very real problems today. But there are huge opportunities. And I think some of the economic barriers that are out there are going to be removed or ameliorated in the next 3 or 4 years. And so young people have enormous opportunities. And one of the things young people should recognize is that especially when they go out in the workforce, be prepared for setbacks. Be prepared for you may have to trial and error for a few years before you find something you have a knack for. And also be prepared as you get older for, even though you may have liked to have done something for 10, 15, 20 years, you may decide when you're 40 or 50 or 60, you want to move elsewhere. One of our columnists wrote a piece several months ago of a man who headed up oncology, cancer treatment at a major university and hospital system, very successful, decided at the age of 65 he wanted to become a commercial pilot. And so he went through, learned to be a pilot. He couldn't work for the airlines because they cut you off at age 65 or 66. But he does other commercial flights, charter flights and the like. So even if you've spent a lifetime seemingly doing one thing, it doesn't mean you can't make a huge break and do something else.
Do you have a favorite Forbes column or section to read?
Well, with Forbes, I like everything. But I enjoy doing my editorials. I enjoy reading Rich Karlgaard and some of our columnists like Amity Schlaze and David Malpass, Ken Fisher on advice on what to buy. He's been writing for us for over 30 years. He's a very successful money manager. He's always original in his thinking. But going through the magazine, whether it's the things we call leaderboard, whether it's our list, never-ending fascination, because even though people tend to think of business, thanks to economics, as very numbers-oriented. Numbers are a tool, but business is people, and people are always interesting.
What's your favorite publication to read other than Forbes? I noticed you tweet a lot of Wall Street Journal.
Well, I like the Wall Street Journal. It's a necessary thing to look at every day, especially their editorial opinion sections. But there are numerous other ones. The New York Post I like. On-site aggregators like Real Clear Markets, Real Clear Politics, Free Market Central, a new aggregator's got some very interesting stuff. Sites like Politico or National Review Online, Daily Caller. There are a number of sources out there. And the nice thing about the web is you can graze on there as long as you want. You're always going to find very interesting things not enough hours to do all the things you want to do. So that's the nice thing about the web is if you have curiosity, you can get it indulged in a way you never could have before when we just had print and things like TV.
You couldn't have said it in a better way. What's your favorite thing to do in your free time when you're not reading or you're working at Forbes?
In the free time, other than sleeping late, is I enjoy bicycling. I do weekend trips in Vermont, occasionally overseas with the groups like Backroads, VBT, Butterfield and Robinson and the like. Nice thing about it is these groups, you meet interesting people, and these providers do all the work for you. They provide you with the bike. They have a van that follows you. You can do a short amount of bicycling. You can do a lot. It's all filled, it's all geared to your own wants and needs. And so I have a great time. The only problem with those kind of bicycle trips, whether they're in New Zealand or Italy or elsewhere, Asia, is that you tend to gain weight because each meal you feel you've earned it because you've been riding so hard during the day, 50, 60, 80 miles. And so you feel you've earned it. So you end up eating more than you would otherwise.
And now let's move on to a fun this or that segment. So first question is, well, I'll cut this out. If you could trade lives with one person for an entire day, who would it be?
Alive or dead, those who've passed, there'll be a number of interesting ones, such as Ronald Reagan, Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, perhaps a famous general, as long as I knew I wasn't going to get shot. And but one of the things, I'd love to spend a day as president of the White House. I don't know if I could get the flat tax done or something like that, but it would be fun to try. But one of the things, well, it's fun to imagine being somebody else. We tend to look at the superficial, all the good stuff, and not all the nitty gritty and all the mental angst they may have, turmoil that we just don't know about. So I'm comfortable in my own skin.
So now speaking of, today, if you could be the CEO of any company other than Forbes, which one would it be?
Well, there again, it would be fun. One would be a startup, just to see firsthand what they go through these days, dealing with VCs and all the nitty gritty. It might be fun, but I've been around a long time, so I know that a typical day where they're not showing themselves off but doing real work, it can be very busy. A lot of things coming at you. So you maybe want to see Amazon, how Jeff Bezos does it. I did get to spend a little time a few years ago with Warren Buffett. And what's amazing about his office operation is how few people he has. And he runs this multi-billion-dollar empire, but he knows how to delegate and have teams in the field to do the real work.
And I read about Jeff Bezos yesterday, since he was on Forbes's richest people, the 400 richest, and with the news that he yesterday, because Amazon stock went up, I think 1 point something %, he made $860 or something million in a day. So certainly, would love to have his life.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he allowed you to be him for a day, he would allow you to get the keys to his various accounts. But you probably just end up with all the headaches and none of the remuneration.
Would you rather have one wish granted today or two in 2 years?
Well, I'm an optimist, so I'll take 2 and 3 years. I may have an illness or find myself in a position where I need somebody to come to the rescue. So I'll take it to the future.
Would you rather be able to stop time or fly?
The what?
Stop time or fly?
Stop time? Well, it'd be nice to stop the clock, and you still get to do things each day, but you don't get any older. But they haven't found a formula for that yet. It's my graying hair will testify.
And our last question, would you rather win an Olympic medal or an Academy Award?
Probably an Olympic medal, even though the Academy Awards have great parties. Since I was never a great athlete, the idea of getting a gold, silver, or bronze in the real Olympics would be very heady medicine, especially in something I can't do, whether it's gymnastics or skating or long distance running. But yeah, Academy Awards, they're great, but I think getting the medal, that would be truly a mark of distinction.
So that brings us to the end of this segment. We'd like to graciously thank Mr. Forbes for sparing time out of his busy schedule to be with us here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Hi guys, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the election today, and I'm not here to give you my political views or reasons why you should love or hate Trump. I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of topics that have come up as a result. So how did Donald Trump manage to swing so many previously Democrat-leaning states? There are a lot of opinions circulating the political climate right now. Some have argued racism, xenophobia, and misogyny fueled his rise. Others argue that Trump's anti-elite Washington outsider message resonated and mobilized blue-collar voters in critical states. Trump lost the popular vote by 0.2%, but got enough electoral votes to clinch 4 years in the Oval Office. Clinton got more votes, but Trump is our next president because the Electoral College takes president over popular vote. This being said, this election was run under the premise that the Electoral College was the deciding factor. Therefore, we can work to change it for the next election, but cannot alter the results of this one. Regardless of your current feelings on these two issues, Donald Trump is our next president. Woo! Oh my God. As Hillary Clinton so graciously said, we owe him an open mind and a chance to lead. This is exactly what we need to do, because like it or not, we have 4 more years, and we owe it to ourselves and to the rest of the world to do the best for our great nation.
Hey guys, this is Riddy, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a recent discovery of a skeleton that may be linked to Amelia Earhart. So as you know, Amelia Earhart was the first woman to make a full transatlantic flight, and was also the first pilot to make a coast-to-coast flight, assuming she didn't die in a plane crash. There are many theories how Earhart may have been living on a tropical island for what could be days or weeks before dying. Bones were found on an abandoned Pacific island. Although Amelia's measurements were not recorded, scientists were able to get relative proportions just by looking at portraits. Proportions which matched the skeleton found. Some other theories regarding Earhart's disappearance are that her plane's fuel ran out, causing a mid-flight crash somewhere in the ocean, or that Amelia was captured by Japanese forces. This theory arose when similarities between Amelia's plane Electra and Japanese Air Force plane Mitsubishi A6M0 were found. So, what are some of your theories on what happened?
Thanks for watching. Until then.